Gonna do a roll call. Councilman Corbett?
Here.
Councilwoman Eason?
Here.
Councilwoman Gaunt Butler?
Present.
Councilman Harold Johnson?
Here.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Here.
Councilwoman Williams? Council Vice President Coley?
Present.
Also present, M. Smith, Deputy Municipal Clerk. Mr. White from the City Attorney's Office. Margaret Hamir from the Clerk's Office. Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be apprised, anyone wishing to discuss agenda items or general issues shall sign one book. There will be 2 columns in the book, one for agenda items and one for general issues. Each person signing the book will check agenda items or general issues. If they check only agenda items or general issues, they will be allowed to speak for 5 minutes. If they check general issues and agenda items, they will be allowed to speak for 10. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 at set the Sunshine Law has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and published in the record transcript on July 17, 2014, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. We have no matters for discussion.
Hold on. We have a rep from United Water. I don't know if he was. Did anyone make any? What's your name again, sir?
My name is Steve House.
Steve House. Did anyone make any suggestions or recommendations for you to come tonight?
No, thank you.
Hmm?
No, I'm just here to. I'm just here as a.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councilman Vice President, can we suspend the rules and allow Carl Smith, our tax collector, to do his presentation on the liens? I didn't put it on the agenda because I didn't think he was gonna be here, but, could we suspend the rules and just let him present on that? Since they are prepared.
The president has just arrived, and I'll relinquish the meeting over to her.
Council President has arrived at 7:10 p.m.
Councilwoman Easton, I'm sorry. You was asking about the tax liens?
Yeah, can we suspend the rules and let Carl Smith present on that?
The resolution is not before us tonight, and this is just a matter for discussion. And how long do you anticipate this matter of discussion being?
How much, where is it? No more than what, 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, I see me like on
Right.
15 minutes.
So 5 to 7 minutes, can you do it?
Yeah, I can do it 5, 7
Okay.
If he goes to 10, don't shoot him.
Come on, Mr. Smith, please come.
Good evening, City Council. Carl Smith speaking, Tax Collector, City of Orange Township. First, let me say that it's an honor and privilege to serve the City of Orange Township Council, administration, and residents for my 6 years. That being said, I've issued you a list of tax title liens FAQs.
You issued, facts. Tax lien, title lien facts, okay.
Correct, FAQs. As state law prescribes, as the tax collector, I must hold a tax sale each year to enforce unpaid taxes and/or municipal charges from the prior year. The municipal charges include water, sewer, and other municipal charges that are owed from the prior year. This was known as a standard tax sale. I'm going to be doing this forever before I got here and before the other collector before me. If the city does not sell the liens, then the city takes ownership of the liens, the ownership of the property. We we just own the liens. The more liens sold at the annual tax sale results in more revenue to the city. Once the city has ownership of tax liens, we are left with only, and I do mean only, 3 options. The city can foreclose on tax liens after 6 months from the tax sale. Once a lien is sold at the annual tax sale, it cannot be sold again at another annual auction, but through assignment only. The city can sell the lien for the full amount owed via direct assignment, which includes all subsequent delinquent taxes and interest. And lastly, the city can bundle the liens together and sell all the liens at a bulk discount. It is costly for the city to foreclose on tax sale liens. Foreclosing on liens can cost as much as $200,000, given the number of liens that we have already in our inventory. Once the city sells the tax lien via direct sale or bulk, we no longer have the added expense to foreclose on the tax sale certificates. That price gets passed on to the winning bid or the winning purchaser of the tax sale certificate. Once the city does sell the lien, then the recipient of the tax lien must pay the taxes as they come due, if they choose to foreclose on the tax sale liens itself. If they fail to pay taxes as they come due, then we can take the property back to tax sale the following year. Tax liens are the direct result of either unpaid taxes and or municipal charges, and thus cause our collection rate to suffer. Each quarter I'm billing these properties, each quarter these people are not paying their taxes, and it does have an impact on our bottom line. Our bond rating is affected by a higher number of municipal liens. Again, these are people I'm sending out bills every quarter that they're not paying but are yet receiving city services. Before tax liens are placed against the property, owners receive at least 6 delinquent notices and a tax sale notice prior to any tax sale occurring. Last year, to address the long list of liens, we offered a favorable amnesty program from June 1st, 2014 to July 31st, 2014 to all property owners who had city-held liens. We waived interest and collected $159,796.08 in municipal lien revenues during this 2-month period. We offer property owners the opportunity to pay their city liens in installment plans, providing certain conditions were met. Less than 5 owners actually applied for installment plans, so the number was indeed very low. Other municipalities such as Jersey City and Patterson have held bulk assignment lien sales in the past as a revenue enhancer. The administration will evaluate all bids before and impose deadlines as stated in Resolution 4 if we choose to do a bulk assignment sale. Once the administration recommends the most responsible bid, then the City Council must approve the awarding bid. If we do a bulk lien sale, it's actually done by blind bid. Note, the winning bidder is responsible for paying all the delinquent taxes and subsequent delinquent taxes in order to foreclose. All property owners can pay the outstanding amount due to remove from the list at any time before final judgment is issued. So even if we were to do an assignment sale or a bulk assignment, once the complaint has been filed, the property owner can still come at any time to redeem the lien.
Mr. Smith, so you're bringing this to our attention because of the request to foreclose on tax liens that was put before this council, correct?
That's correct. I've submitted a RIM foreclosure list before, and we've suggested trying to perhaps do a bulk assignment. I just want to give these options available.
Okay, so this is based on that foreclosure list that you sent to us.
Correct.
Last year, when that bulk sale came before this council, there was sort of a plan to go forward, and it was number 1 to do the amnesty, number 2 after the amnesty closed to do the auction, and then bring back the after the amnesty, after the auction, then you were to bring back all of the items that did not clear through the tax amnesty program and the auction. Then you were supposed to submit a new list to us. I don't recall that ever happened. Only thing I recall going forward was the tax amnesty. One of the questions when the package with the last buyers was put before this council, there was a discussion on what was the actual value of the properties versus the proposed, and then the writing within the actual bid kind of there was an error, but as a result, we ended up selling the 5 property to the bulk people, correct? We sold them there was 3 or 5 properties on that list that were sold to the bulk presenters?
No. We what happened was that we did try to do what's known as a direct assignment of the liens last year, and that investor pulled out at the last minute.
So they didn't even do the 3 to 5?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we were not able to even sell those.
So after the amnesty, what happened to the auction and then bringing the list back before this council? What happened to the auction that was supposed to be followed amnesty?
Well, after the amnesty, what I did was I consulted with the administration, and they decided to take a wait-and-see attitude about it.
Okay.
So I didn't want to submit that information without input from them.
So the only part you did was the tax amnesty. How many properties did you remove from the tax amnesty? You said 5 went into installment. How many came out from the amnesty program?
Well, the installment plan, these were people who were considered for installment. To my knowledge, no one met the criteria for the installment plan.
And what about the amnesty? Did you remove?
Oh yeah, there were analysts. As far as the revenue, I'll have to come back and give you a number of items who actually, as far as the number, but I do know the revenue came out to $159,796.08 during that amnesty period in liens.
And that was up until July 31st?
Yes, that was from June 1st to July 31st.
2014. Council members?
Mr. Smith, so what is your recommendation what action are you recommending that the council takes to support and put some money, to collect some money for the city to support getting rid of those foreclosed and abandoned properties?
Well, again, Councilwoman, there are 2 options that we have. We can either, if we have a responsible bidder, we can do a bulk assignment again. If we know we have somebody who's credible, who's willing to buy and purchase all these liens at once, or we could spend the extra money to foreclose the liens ourselves. And so it's hard to say which one is preferable or the other. Both of them are means of a way to an end.
And you said it would cost $200,000 to foreclose. Would we reap double that if we foreclosed, used the $200,000?
Well, basically, most municipalities, what they do is that once they do foreclose on the properties, then you can sell at auction. So I was just saying that, as a matter of factly, that we were to foreclose on these properties, not only you get the revenue back as far as from a straight sale of the properties to an auction, but also too we find that based upon my analysis that usually anywhere between 25 to 45% of people come in, they'll pay before they even reach this final judgment. So you actually recoup that money much sooner.
How long does it take the city to foreclose on a property?
I would.
The time frame.
Sure. I would say from the time that we file the complaint to the time that we get the final judgment, given that there aren't any errors or any delays in the proceedings, it usually takes about a little over a year and a half.
So the quickest way would be to sell them as a bulk.
Yeah, as far as a one-time revenue source, yes, you can do that. And by doing that, you don't have to pay for the expenses of foreclosing yourself.
Any other Councilman Johnson?
Council President, thank you. Mr. Smith, how are you doing this evening?
Good, Councilman.
Good. Are you aware of any towns selling their liens online?
Yes, I do know that the city of Clifton actually sells their liens online. They do their annual tax sale by selling their liens online, but there are very few. I know Trenton also does sell their liens online as well.
Does Irvington?
I know Irvington does not.
What advantage is that to a municipality?
Well, if you sell your properties online, as far as the liens itself, you're widening your pool of investors. And that's why most towns do it. You just have to make sure you have the technology infrastructure in place to do something like that.
Councilman Johnson, just for clarification, so is that a bid online, or is it?
I'm not sure.
What is
No,
it?
I guess I'm going to clarify. This is a reference to the annual tax sale that I hold
It's an
each
annual
year,
tax
not for any assignments or any bulk assignments.
So this, what they do online is an annual tax sale?
Correct, yes.
And the annual is set by the municipality. It's not like done in December.
Correct, yeah. It's at the tax collector's discretion to do it. I usually hold mine from anywhere from September to October of each year.
So if a municipality did that, then the tax assessor wouldn't necessarily have to go into bulking and bidding and trying to get people to buy groups of liens. It would just be out there for anybody to see and to bid on themselves and pick and choose which ones they want.
Correct, yes. Each year I'm statutorily responsible to have an annual tax sale to enforce the unpaid taxes and unpaid water and sewer charges from the prior year. You hold a tax sale and you can have the option to put it online. You cast a wider net of investors. That's what you want to do. The goal is to try to sell as many liens as you can each year.
Has this been brought and discussed amongst the administration that this is available to us?
Well, I have done research on this, and that's probably something that actually can be done in the future. But we have to make sure we have the infrastructure in place to do something like that. I know we've had some computer issues here, some technology issues, but that's probably something that you could do in the future here. Absolutely.
Council President, just one more question. Thank you, Mr. Smith. My main concern about looking at the list of properties for lien in this bulk sale and so forth, I was not clear on how those properties were chosen out of all of the properties to be bundled, and that was my major concern, not fully understanding how the administration comes up. Does the investor pick the properties that are bundled, or does the administration picks the properties?
Well, it would have to be the administration. And the reason why it does, Councilman, is suppose you have like a property that may have a bankruptcy on it. Well, you can't sell that lien. Or perhaps, let's say we do some research and find that a property does have some hazardous or some environmental issues on it. You want to make sure you remove that as well. So you want to try to make the list as advantageous as possible to a particular bidders.
Okay, so your general report with a resolution doesn't go into those details for us to say, okay, those 8 properties there are negative effect. We can't put them out.
Correct, yes. I try to screen the properties as best as I can, given the knowledge that I have.
Thank you, Council President.
As a follow-up to his question, Mr. Smith, is there a master list, and you can just put everything on the list that shows us maybe through Friday, or with all of the properties, and even if there's a property that cannot be considered, you can kind of highlight. Can you do that for us?
Absolutely. I can give you a master list that I have of every lien that we have that's still open for the outstanding taxes with interest up to date.
Okay, thank you.
Council President?
Councilwoman Neeson?
Mr. Smith, how many properties do you approximately are we talking about?
Last I looked, it was approximately neighborhood between 120 and 130 properties that we're looking at. So it's quite significant. It really is, and it does hurt our bottom line.
So when do you, if you were going to do the bulk, when do you plan on bringing the resolution back, or are you planning to?
Well, the way you do the bulk assignment was assumed like we did last year. The law has not changed. You have to actually advertise the list before the council meeting. You have to notify all the property owners on the list, and once you do the advertisement, and then you have to accept the bids. And then once you review the bids, then you bring it back before the council again to recommend the winning bidder.
Council President.
Councilwoman Gordon Butler?
Mr. Smith, I have a question. Councilman Johnson asked what are the advantages of doing it online, the sale online? What are the disadvantages?
Well, I would say one of the disadvantages is that you don't know who these people are in a way. That is true that when you're selling your liens online, you do cast a a greater net. But at the same time, the liens that I do sell on an annual basis are people I have a personal contact and personal relationship with. So they come in, not only do they buy the tax lien from us, 9 times out of 10 they're also going to pay the delinquent taxes as they become delinquent as well. So they can say, well, Carl, I want to make sure my liens are paid up to date. I give an amount in the total, and they pay off all the subsequents. So it's easier to contact them. They can contact us if any issues arrive.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Smith. And Mrs. Smith, I was a little bit late, so Council Vice President Coley, did you announce that Mrs. Smith is moving on? No, that
This is
didn't.
all news to me. Where you going?
Okay,
Yeah.
Mrs. Smith, I know you
Yeah.
said 2 lines, and I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody knew what that meant. I thought that was a follow-up. To our constituents in the office and the council members that do not know, Mrs. Smith is moving on. We taught him well, and now we're sending him out into the world to broaden his horizon and his wings. He will be leaving us effective January 30th. And Mrs. Smith, would you like to follow up and tell,
Well, I have to say, I've been here for 6 years. I came on board in about November 2008, and it has been a pleasure to serve the council, the administration, and the city of Orange Township. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, my father's law partner was Oliver Lofton, and we used to come up to his house in Seven Oaks every year for a pool party. So Orange will always have a special place in my heart and my mind. So,
Mrs. Smith,
yeah.
I mean, if you want to say where you're going, you're not obliged to say that. But
Okay.
Okay. You
Okay.
choose not to. Okay,
All
chooses not to.
Thank you.
But we wish you well. But he did tell me that we can call him for whatever we need.
Yes, please do. Please do.
And we
We're still
thank him
friends.
for just-
Councilwoman Eason?
Mr. Smith, you know I'm crying, but I just want to say thank you for the time you spend in the city, for being so open and working with us and giving us your best. Thank you for the consultation, the dancing. Thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. All that you did for this city. We really appreciate it. Sorry to see you go, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a
And
lot.
you know I'll be calling you.
I know. No problem. We'll always be friends.
Councilman Corbett?
Well, Mr. Smith, you know that I'm going to miss you a bunch, and you and I have a bond and have a relationship that goes beyond City Hall, and I'm happy for you. Because you have to do what's best for you and your family, but at the same time, I'm saddened because the city is going to take a big hit with the loss of you serving as our tax collector. You've taught me a lot, and I'm still going to learn a lot from you because I'm going to continue to call you. But I wish you nothing but the best, and make sure you keep that smile on your face.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Corbett. Thank you.
Any other council members? Councilman Johnson?
I will make sure, Mr. Smith, that at the Orange Housing Authority golf outing that we will be on the same cart next year. Hole number 9, the first Heineken is on me.
I will be there.
And thank you very much, Mrs. Smith. Did you pass out the memos that I had asked for earlier?
I actually emailed it to you. I was running late. I emailed it to you.
Would you be so kind to step away and print it out so I can give it to council
Sure.
members because it's questions they had asked and I want them to have those answers.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And thank you. And we
Thank
look
you.
forward to, we'll call you, I'll call you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:15, okay. Can I ask Mr. Garrett to come up as well?
Okay. Thank you once again, Council.
Can you get that soon? Mr. Smith, can you get that now for us, please? Would you be so kind to get the memos for us now?
Sure.
Okay. Council members, this is a meeting where we're transitioning personnel. Mr. Garrett will be leaving us as well. He'll be moving on. I think he's going to be a boat captain in St. Lucia. Did you decide yet?
No, I'm gonna start with the Raritan Bay and work my way south for a couple months. But I'm glad to have this opportunity to let the council know that I'm retiring after 27 years of county service. I've been fortunate, had the opportunity to work in a lot of different capacities: court attendant, sheriff's officer, prosecutor's detective, weatherization manager, youth employment manager, freeholder's aide, liaison to the City of Orange, and on the senior management team of the county executive. For the last 4 years, it's been my pleasure to serve council, and I appreciate the opportunity. I would have to say that out of all the things I've been asked to do, all the assignments I've had, serving the City of Orange has been something that's been very close to my heart. I tried to do it as effectively and as tirelessly as possible. It's been a great experience, and I appreciate the opportunity.
And you will be, your last day is January 30th, is it as well?
Yes.
So council members, feel free to call Mr. Garrett up until 4:30 on January 30th with all your questions. And the county knows that he was probably one of the best liaisons to the City of Orange. He took our concerns back to the Freeholder Board, back to the county, and our voice was continuously heard because Mr. Garrett took our concerns to them on a daily basis. So we appreciate that. Council members, any advice?
Yeah, I'll make a comment.
Council
Yes, so, Mr. Garrett, I've known him for a long time. And so, and I've only sat on this council for 2.5 years, but I knew him prior to this. And so I do want to say that your service to the city is going to be sorely missed. And you did it with such diligence and professionalism. And so we appreciate that. And you'll be missed, but I know how to contact you.
Can't change your phone number. Councilwoman Nisa?
I just want to say thank you. Was very cooperative. You helped me out a lot. I really appreciate it. You always answered your phone when I called, and that's a plus. And if you didn't answer, you always called me back. So I want to say thank you. We will miss you, but in whatever you do, Godspeed and God bless.
Councilman Corbett?
For some reason, I don't think this is going to be the last bad news that we hear tonight. I'm happy for you, but like Mr. Smith, I'm sorry to hear that you're leaving. You and I have a bond, and you've been especially helpful to me, and I greatly appreciate that. Though you may not be working with us, you're going to continue to work with me, whether you know it or not. Any idea who's going to be replacing you?
No, I don't. I haven't been informed.
Well, I wish you nothing but the best in your retirement. For some reason, I just can't see you sitting back doing nothing. So I'm sure you're going to be doing something. And whatever that is, I just wish you nothing but the best and offer you Godspeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. Don't leave. This is just a nice part, so we might have more questions for you later.
I do have
Oh, I'm
one.
sorry. I didn't hear you, Councilman.
You didn't.
I
ask this,
apologize. All right.
Okay.
Councilman Johnson?
Mr. Garrett, I do want to thank you, sir, for just having that connect with the county for me. Me piecing together what the political scene is in Essex County. You were a big help with just being able to supply me with county information that I can share with my constituent to kind of make me look good. Just grasping on trying to make that connect between the municipality of Orange and Essex County. So I really appreciate your help, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett.
Thank you very much.
Council members, are there any ordinances and/or resolutions that you would like to discuss this evening? Yes.
Number 15.
Which one? Which one? What? For, is it, the bill list?
No, the permit.
Give me that.
Permit fees.
Ordinance. Okay, it's a matter of record, ordinance 3-2015 will be withdrawn by the administration at the appropriate time. I'm sorry.
You said it's removed?
Yes, it's gonna be removed. Are there any other items, are there any items for discussion? I apologize.
33-2015.
33-2015. A resolution ratifying the labor negotiation between the City of Orange Township and Orange and Omeba regarding salary adjustment and training stipend conditions. So this is basically a memorandum of understanding. As a matter of reference, council members, the clerk's office was so nice to put a copy of the last approved contract on your desk. Councilman Coley, your question?
We never had no formal discussions about this this contract or these negotiations. And I think that there should be some type of discussion prior to us voting on this resolution for this contract.
We're not involved in that.
Councilwoman Easton, I'm sorry, you kind of, no.
We're not allowed to get involved in the contract.
Well, when it's presented to us, this will probably, I mean, we could have had a matters for discussion to bring administration, because we do have to vote on it, so it is at us for consideration and discussion at this point. Mr. White, are you the attorney that negotiated the contract? No. And who signed? Is Haver, Adhill, or Sandy Mason here? No. No. Okay. So this is basically which is not clear. I believe this is a memorandum of agreement or understanding for a portion of the contract and not the whole. Council members, we're going to take this and motion is to, at the appropriate time, to go to the Finance Committee and ask who is the attorney that negotiated? I'm sorry.
I believe it was Joe Wenzel and James Wolf.
Wolf and Winslow?
Wenzel.
Wenzel and Wolf, okay. And bring it back at the appropriate time, because I think it should have came over as an MOU. It's not the full contract. Do you know if what the intention was? You don't. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I think there was some initial terms that were agreed on, and then there was an agreement to finalize remaining terms. But I don't want you to hold me to that.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I think that's kind of what.
Council President, I can't hear you.
Okay, you talking, Mr. White?
There were initial terms that were agreed to, and then there was an agreement to resolve the remaining terms, to go back and resolve the remaining terms.
So
But
this is either MOA and a MOU, and then the remainder is coming back at a later date?
yeah, I don't know what you're looking at actually.
Where's your copy of the stuff? Give them to you.
And Council President, I want to make a recommendation. Even though it'll go to the Finance Committee, I still think that it needs to come before the council as a matter of discussion for the entire governing body to hear the comprehensive plan for that.
Okay. Do you,
Council President?
Councilwoman Issa?
In the history of negotiations, the legislative body has not been involved in contract negotiations. So before we move forward, I think we need a rendering from the law department to tell them.
Councilwoman Issa, we're not being involved in.
No, I'm just saying, we just need, so that we are clean, that we need a recommendation from the law department as to what role we can play in the contract.
And for clarification, the council
You're
is
not an attorney.
I'm not an attorney, Councilwoman.
I want to get a really good opinion
I will
from the
give it,
law
Councilwoman
department.
Easton, just a second. For clarification, this council is asking to speak to the attorney so that we can be clear as to what they are putting before this council. We are not meeting with.
And that's fine, but I
Okay.
also think we need a clarification from the legal department as to what role we play in contracts.
Approving the contract.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think we need a legal opinion.
And that would be that the administration would negotiate the contract, and then they would present it for approval or
Final approval.
to the governing body. And you vote it up or down.
Right. But however, this council can ask questions of the attorneys, if we have, and one being the question, you can, if you want to step out and make a call, is this, because it looks like it's a successor contract, but it looks like it's actually a MOA or MOU. So I want to make sure that we're approving the right thing. And what you just stated was your understanding that there was a portion to be approved today and the remainder will come back at a later time.
Well, I think that there were some terms, and let me look at it again, but there were some terms that were, had not been resolved, and there was an agreement to come back and resolve them, but those terms are ready to be voted on. You could vote on the terms you see before you. So I wouldn't call it.
Is there anybody from finance here? Ms. Knight?
Good afternoon, well, good evening, Takesha Knight, Finance Department.
Hi. The finance portion has been paid, the financial portion for 2014 has been paid to the members of Amoeba, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we're not slowing down that process for the 2014. And then their next pay increase would be for 2015.
In actuality, this is an MOA. This is a memorandum of agreement from the union. The union has agreed on the terms that were presented. So it's an addendum to the contract. Contract hasn't been done in years.
Right.
And although the money has been given for 2014, bless you,
Thank you.
salaries have not been changed, and they will not be changed until the council ratifies the agreement.
Okay. Council members, does anybody have any questions of Ms. Knight? Ms. Knight, before she leaves? Council.
I'm a little confused. You said money has been given, but salaries hasn't been changed. What do you mean by that exactly?
The 1.25% has been given to the union.
That's the retroactive pay?
Yes. Well, it was for 2014. But however, as I said, it hasn't been ratified by the council. It was agreed upon by the union, but not ratified by the council. So no further changes have been made.
The union ratified by majority?
Yes, the union,
do you know what years this?
it covers 2013 to 2014. 2013 is 0%.
This MOA covers 2013.
Yes,
But what's last time the contract was approved?
The last contract ended in 2012, and I believe that was for 3 years prior. So I think it was either 2008 or 2009.
Okay.
Well, no, that wasn't a contract either. That was an MOA as well.
That was MOA. So you haven't had a full contract in several years.
Yes.
So council members, again, Ms. Knight has clarified that this document is actually a memorandum of agreement, and it speaks to the salary, the night differential, training, days off, and crossing guards.
Council President, may I
Johnson?
ask?
Yeah.
Ask a question. Is it standard municipal practice that funds are paid out on something like this, and then the ratification happens afterwards?
No.
Because I'm a little confused.
The standard process, Ms. Knight, is that the union would agree. They would take it to their body for a vote. If the body votes in the positive, then it come before. Then it would, this counts. The representatives for the union and the administration would sign off, and then they would submit it to council for final approval. So they kind of got ahead of themselves.
Yeah, it's a disconnect. I believe there was a misunderstanding with the resolution that the council passed to hold the money. And I think it was a misunderstanding. I can't say for that for sure.
With the budget, the
Yes.
the 500,000
Yes.
that we put into a reserve?
So I think there was a little disconnect, a little misunderstanding, but it has been clarified that nothing can be done until the council ratifies the contract.
I'm still confused.
Okay.
I mean,
Talk it out.
because that at the council meeting when we froze that $500,000 and moved it in 2015, that was what was set aside for raises or whatever. So what you're saying tonight is that that money was, as of that council meeting, was frozen, but yet and still the administration found monies from other accounts to pay this money in advance? Is that what happened?
No.
Ms. Knight, I think, go ahead, Ms. Knight.
As I said, the money was frozen for contract raises, and that money was paid from the 500,000 for contract raises and contract raises only.
So am I understanding you to say that by us reserving that money for 500,000, there was a belief that that was the approval to pay?
Yes, but like I said, it was a misunderstanding, and then it was clarified that the council has to ratify the contract from the union.
Councilman Coley?
I have a question. Who, I guess, gave the okay to pay the retro?
I would have to find that out for you.
Okay. So who normally pays the write the checks or pay people?
Well, finance department payroll, we give the money.
But you don't know.
We process the payroll.
Okay. Is it we or is it you?
When I say we, I say finance because I'm a part of finance.
Okay. But you don't know who gave the actual okay for that?
No.
Okay. Thanks.
Ms. Knight, who besides OMEBA got a 2% raise?
No one. That's the only contract that has been done to my knowledge
And no
to date.
other no directors, anybody else got a 2% raise?
Well, it has been in practice as long as I've been here, and I've been here 18 years, that when OMEBA gets a raise, non-statutory employees also get the same raise.
And that too would have to come before council for approval?
Yes.
Okay, so, but did those directors get the
A
raise?
salary ordinance is being prepared once the contract is ratified.
Were they already paid? With the same
They were
time
included
OMEBA?
as well, yes.
They were paid, so directors and OMEBA members were paid on the 31st of December?
Yes.
Council President, if you don't mind,
Councilman
one more question kind of statement. I'm pretty disturbed that our finance director and our CFO chose to miss this meeting tonight, especially after the grandstanding at the last meeting where they were explaining to people how funds get shifted around from account to account, like we didn't know that. The biggest problem and the misunderstanding with this administration is that we play a part in passing resolutions and so forth. We're not telling them how to spend the money, but we like to see how they spend the money. And this is a clear example that I think our authority was exerted, and they actually did something that wasn't legal. And I have to sit here and I don't know whether I should question it or say nobody's explaining to me why it went down like that. We reserved those funds to be tapped into 2015. Either you used those funds or you took money from someplace else. And for the night that this resolution's being presented, our finance director's not here and our CFO is not here to go to that microphone and explain this. I think that's kind of shady.
I would like to clarify something for you. Mr. Mapp is away, and he'll be away for the week, and Ms. Lascari is at home sick with the flu.
Thank you, Ms. Knight. Are there any other questions for Ms. Knight, council members?
I'm done.
Thank you. Are there any other resolutions that we would like to discuss? Now,
Council
can I have,
President?
I'm sorry, Councilman Easton.
32, 2015.
The bill list?
Yes.
Okay.
On page 1, and I don't know if Mr. White has the answer.
32, page 1.
under the law professional service, the $51,000. I thought he was taken off those cases by the judge, right?
Yes,
So can,
I think the order, Councilwoman, this speaks to prior, but would you like to remove it to get, if we're sure?
to get an
still-
explanation, yes.
If we can get the right, if this is the right period he's being paid for?
Right.
Mr. White, do you know?
It looks like one invoice is from 2013 and one is from 2014. I
Can you
don't-
get the backup for us?
Yes.
Well, for me at least.
So Councilwoman, your request is to remove it till we get explanation?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Are there any other items, Councilwoman Neeson?
There was one other one. If you could go to somebody else while I found the other one I was questioning.
Council members, any other questions on the bill list?
This is on the bill list. I did, let's see. Let me do that.
No?
I do, Council President,
Okay.
I can't find the line name, but I wanted to ask Director Mays to enlighten me on the two vehicles that are showing up on this bill list.
On the, for purchase?
Yes,
On the, resolution?
Explorers or something, I don't know,
Resolution or on the bill list?
on the bill list.
Okay, for purchase on the bill list?
Page 11.
Just had my bill list. Yeah.
Page 11, oh, okay. It's, Mr. Mays, page 11? You got it?
Oh, I found it. I found it. Yeah. Yes, Council President, it's on page 11 at the bottom.
Yeah,
Under,
Mr.
under
Mays?
general capital.
Okay.
Under general capital, it says two 2015 Ford Explorers for 42 grand.
Is that what we did last, approved last?
This is something that was approved a while ago for these vehicles. They already had the initial approval by resolution. I think this is just a payment. And if you remember, I think when I talked about several vehicles, we paid using two funding sources, being the bond as one funding source and ECIA as a second funding source. So these here are clearly from a different bond. If you see the ECIA 94 bond, which was old bond money that you heard me talk about previously. So this had to be some type of a partial payment on the vehicles that were already ordered.
Okay, thank you, Director Mays.
Council members, any other questions? Councilman Neeson?
Can we also get on page 11,
Mm-hmm.
the backup to the 21,000? Because I see there's some bills in here from 2012.
And what is it, Councilman, is that request the same as the previous?
Yes. That's number.
Page 11, 21,000. Okay. All right. Okay.
One more?
Yes, Councilman Johnson?
On page 1, I noticed there's bills for Craig and Pickett, or Pickett and Craig.
Councilwoman Easton has asked that that be removed until
Oh,
we get to the
okay.
council receives further
kind of strong?
clarification. Okay.
Gotcha. And also, once again, a couple of my customers from my day job appear on the bill list, so I will be skipping voting on portions of it. Thank you.
Abstaining? Okay. Councilman, if not, may I, have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Summers Johnson,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Easton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Would y'all like to keep going?
Yes.
Ms. Rob.
Let's roll.
Okay, let's go.
Good evening. This is the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Orange Township held in the Council Chambers, City Hall, 29 North Gay Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Tuesday, January 20, 2015, immediately following the conference meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Roll call.
Councilman Coley,
Present.
Councilman Corbett,
Here.
Councilman Easton,
Here.
Councilwoman Galt Butler,
Present.
Councilman Johnson,
Here.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson,
Here.
Council President Williams.
Present.
Also present, M. Smith, Deputy Municipal Clerk. Mr. White from the City Attorney's Office. Kevin Harris, Legislative Research Officer. Marty Mays, representing the administration. And Margaret Hamir from the Clerk's Office. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9, the Sunshine Law, has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and published. A record transcript on July 17, 2014, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall and filed in the Office of the Municipal Clerk.
Approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to adopt the conference and regular meeting for November 17, 2014?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Councilman Johnson.
Second.
On the motion, sorry. All in favor? No, I'm sorry, on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley,
In favor.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gaunt Butler,
In favor.
and I am in favor as well. Moving to reports.
Fees collected by the Building, Plumbing, Electrical, Elevator, and Fire Divisions for the calendar year 2014 was $697,741. Constable, Darnell Brody, month of December 2014, no activity. OPA request, month of December 2014, OPA request 29 received, 112 items completed, and 1 item pending. Council reports.
Going to start with the library.
I don't have a report at this time, but I am going to be meeting with the director on Thursday at 4 o'clock, so the next meeting I'll have a report.
Thank you. Housing Authority.
Council President, I had the opportunity to go to the last Housing Authority meeting. My wife made a report out of my draft notes today, and I actually left them in my other bag. I apologize, the senior moment, that I had 9 copies to turn in and actually give a little small report. I will have to give that the next meeting.
Thank
I
you.
apologize.
The dog ate your homework.
Yeah, the dog ate my homework.
Police.
Police Director Sims, I think he would give the report himself.
Director Sims, we're going to do your report tonight or February? February, okay. He's going to do it in February.
That's fine.
Councilman Coley or Corbett, any other updates? No?
No.
Okay.
I just want to say the new police cars are in service. They look good.
And their lights are
And
bright.
it's definitely a morale booster for our officers. And I just want to thank the City Council for following through with giving the officers, the tools that they need to serve our citizens.
Thank you.
Council President, if I
Yes.
can, just want to add to what Councilman Coley was saying. As far as the morale boost for the police department is going, what really would boost their morale is adding more police officers to their units. And that's been confirmed. Thank you.
You're welcome. ABC,
No report.
Fire,
No report.
Personnel has no report at this time, and Finance has no report at this time. With that,
Communications. Communications and petitions, there are no reports. Pursuant to Section 4-10 of the City Code of Orange Township, each person addressing the council shall step up to the microphone, shall give his or her name in an audible tone for the record, and unless further time is granted by the presiding officer, shall limit his or her address to 10 minutes. The public is expected to conduct themselves in the proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted. The chair will immediately rule that conduct out of order and terminate any further comments.
thank you. William R. Lewis,
Thank you, Council President, members of the Orange City Council. My name is William R. Lewis. I live at 688 Mosswood Avenue. And, let me just say overall that you, as elected officials, have a responsibility to the public who voted you in and supported you. And it's your job to carry that out. I hear many references to fiduciary responsibilities. That's probably the most important, but you also have to be careful of all other things, business you're conducting, that you represent the city properly in a lawful and constitutional manner. And one of the things is the agenda that's presented is supposed to be the manner in which you run your business. And as I've said before, if you've been involved with a parliamentary organization, which most of you haven't, then you have a pretty good grounding as to how things should be done. But essentially it's to conduct the business of the city and not to be used for PR purposes for friends, relatives, and relations. But the purpose of it is citizens' comments should be provided for the council to get additional information as it goes about deciding how to vote on legislation. To meet the management, technical, and legal requirements for success. I've said it before that I want as many eyes as possible looking at legislation before this city or this council votes on taking some action. This is especially true given the technical, legal, and economic complexity of what is necessary for the city to do its business in a professional manner. I've challenged the council, and they must respond with action, not uneducated retorts. Just to give you an example, another goal to shoot for, which passed anyway. In May of 1990, I was elected to the council. By June 12th, I was participating in budget hearings. My wife, Dr. Evelyn Lewis, was being honored by the city of Newark for being the outstanding administrator in Newark, and I had to miss a hearing. So as a result of that, I did an analysis, completed an analysis of 60% of the budget up to that point, and wrote a white paper on how to conduct the budget process, and that went out to everyone. I mentioned before that I was on the state task force on math curriculum development. One of the advantages that you got out of that, first of all, there were no urban school districts who attended our meetings, which were open. And in addition to that, the Math Teachers Association of New Jersey held their own sessions, which many urban educators did not attend. One of the things that we got out of it, Orange, and I'm talking about benefits from appointing people, I made packages for the Board of Ed and the Orange Education Association and carried them back here. In fact, the library got a complete package of all the work that was produced in that contract, in that legislation that eventually was approved by the state. And the cry that came from most of the urban centers was, we're not ready, we need training. And so if you wonder why our kids are behind the curve in learning, there's an answer right there. We had a action with the Mayor Brown, on layoffs in the clerk's office, and we wound up in court on that. And during the course of that event, I did attend those sessions. That's why I tell you to go. And the evidence that was submitted by the council, which was the budget, was tossed out by the presiding judge, because whether you know it or not, if you go over a budget, that's a Class 3 felony with fine and jail time. And so the judge, because he was an expert, assumed that the council would not do any fund transfers at the end of the year. So he threw out the stuff, that testimony. In any event, when we found out about it, I talked with the council. I said, we better fight this. And we went to the appellate court. But I worked with the attorneys. Councilman, because that's my background. Okay. And we won that appeal. Later, we had a fight with the Tavern Owners Association because we had voted in a 3 a.m. Closing hour, which I voted against. And then when everything that I predicted came true, the council said, can we change this? So we're going to withdraw this and go back to the 2 a.m. closing. The tavern owners took us to court. I sat with the attorneys, and I helped prepare that case, and we won that case. So you got a lot to shoot at if you're going to do your job on the council. And just going on about associations with me, I work with winners, and my son and daughter are both listed in Who's Who, thanks to my wife. I'm the bad cop. She's the good cop. But of my 9 secretaries, 4 were promoted into management. And I think I can get a little credit for that. I've addressed the issue of, my wife rather, I've addressed 2 conferences held by the 100 Black Women of New Jersey over a period of time. In addition, I have a Speakers Bureau of Scientists and Engineers. We go out into schools and talk about engineering and science as a career. So we're talking today about the STEM programs, that includes science and engineering. And when I retired from AT&T, for those folks who think they're so desirable, I had 7 job offers. They called me at work, at my office. I wasn't working anymore, to offer me employment. But I had decided beforehand that I was leaving. And Ray Story, my buddy from Bell Labs, and I used to work with the numbers. We said, hey, you know, when we reach 55, we can get out of here. Well, they gave us a package where they added 5 years to our service, and we said, sayonara, and we left. But in addition, mentioning AT&T, just another aside, I appeared in a documentary by AT&T showing all the involvements of AT&T on the technical side and also on the community side. And what they did was they covered one of the events where I spoke at Alexander Street School about engineering and science as a career. So I've always been engaged, and I always try to help out. As a matter of fact, I, using my personal money, have a scholarship down at NJIT for youngsters from the South Ward of Orange. And I tell educators that I meet them, make sure you follow up if any of your kids are interested.
Mr. Lewis, just to let you know you have 1 minute. Okay,
well, let me just wrap up here. It's, Resolution 22 and Resolution 31. On Resolution 22, why did that person, this is where you're going around the tax court, everyone's supposed to file an appeal, and if you miss the appeal date, you wait till next year and go to next April 15th. So you had something on your agenda last time, well, you got it on there again. Why are these people not going? And why is this city facilitating people and not looking at what the heck went into making this rebate? Because there was an error in the tax assessment, and it don't fly. And you're going to get caught. Okay? And Resolution 31, you should have a list of the officers and what is the purpose of this resolution. And that'll make sure that it passes muster. Because I don't know how you can check on conflicts and pay to play if you don't know who the officers of the corporation are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Jeffrey Feld?
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Feld, local businessman and attorney in good standing, whose offices are located at 268 Main Street, Orange, New Jersey. As my custom, I posted various heads-up comments and questions on the city's www.nj.com public forum. Before I get into my address, I'd like to also give out a shout-out on behalf of my family and my employees to Captain Kevin Suey, who will also be retiring by the end of this month, and he's done great services, and I think we should also be thanking him for his years of service to this community. As I told Councilman Corbett, I think on Friday, a lot of things are happening. I mean, I saw the movie Selma, and there's like a scene where they talk about fate and history converging. I think that's what's happening in the city right now, because there's too many things happening that I can't explain. Last Wednesday, I appeared in front of the local finance board regarding the validity of the rescission and reintroduction of the city's budget. The local finance board upheld the determination of the former Director Neff, and they admitted to getting an opinion from the state attorney general as to the validity. So I asked them, you're sitting as a court, would you share the state attorney general's opinion? Well, the local finance board said no. I said, no, all right, that's your ruling. I know where my way is to the appellate court. If you looked at this Sunday Star Ledger, the lead editorial in the Sunday Star Ledger was really harsh criticism of our governor not following court orders and not following the law, especially like the pension reforms that he proposed and enacted. As I told you at the last meeting, there's a series of appellate division opinions coming out, the published opinions, where they're slamming municipalities and the state for not following the law. I think last week there's another opinion going, it's called Myers, where there's a footnote where the appellate division is telling the trial courts in the world, say, when we make comments in our opinions, you need to follow them. That's a very harsh statement. Last meeting, there were 2 resolutions that went on. I've submitted to the council through the clerk's office 2 proposed resolutions to rescind those resolutions. One goes back to guaranteeing calendar year 2014 tax relief outside the tax appeal process. The other one revolved regarding the Bravo redevelopment designation resolution. You appointed someone a redeveloper, there was no agreement attached. This question was illusory. If we recall, at the last meeting, the city council president allowed the mayor to opine as to the validity of that resolution. Subsequent to that meeting, we found out that the mayor was no longer in good standing as an attorney. And we were in a kind of harsh area where someone is giving legal opinions and they lack good standing. And then under the ethics law, you can't practice, you can be licensed, but if you're not in good standing, you can't practice law in the state. And he was delivering an opinion. Also, after the meeting, there was a hallway discussion between Mr. Mays, myself, Janice Morell, and Manny Munez, where Mr. Mays admitted, he said he was under pressure not to remove the resolution. I mean, this is the problem where we're getting into trouble, where you're now appointing someone to be a redeveloper. I make an open request. He was appointed a redeveloper pursuant to a RFP from 2 years ago, so the information in that RFP was stale. I asked for all emails between the person who drafted the resolution and the redeveloper. Well, it appears that the redevelopment resolution was drafted by our city planner. our city planner is not an attorney. And this is where we get in trouble, where we have non-attorneys drafting binding agreements. We know about this problem because we had a discussion approximately 30 minutes ago regarding the ratification of the agreement with the unions. If you look at the attachment says it's being signed December 31st. Look at the dates of the signatures. They're in January. This is the problem. No one looks at to see whether our I's are dotted or our T's are crossed and we get into problems. Because now we have an admission at the last meeting that monies were paid to union members without being approved by the city council. And that's basic municipal law 101, that no agreement is binding until approved by the legislative body. And you can look, there's a case cited from Jersey City regarding a stadium, but it's basic law. I'm also excited, this week's Law Journal, they talked about a case, Tina Rena, where Union County is now going to be forced to pay attorney's fees for taking an objectively unreasonable position against a dissenting person. There's also an article about aiding and abetting liabilities. Let's turn to tonight's agenda. First thing, bill list. As of this afternoon, the bill list was not posted on the public website, so I don't know how citizens can give comments on it. This is always seems to be a problem. When there's something that's hidden, like I praise Councilperson Eason and Councilman Johnson pointing out that there's some payments on here for work, for legal services that were performed 2013, 2014. I'm glad you picked it up. But the one thing that's really glaring about this evening's bill list, there's no salary S&W attachment. How was payroll made during this period, or was no payroll made? This is the problem that we've had. We had it last year. Where is the S&W? How do we know who's getting paid and whether those people are getting the right amounts? We got into problems last year where there was about 3 or 4 bill lists that there wasn't attached. We're falling into the same pattern, and we have not heard an explanation why S&W was not added. Resolution 22-215, it's the same problem. Do we violate the state constitution by granting calendar year 2014 tax relief outside the statutory tax appeal process? Regarding 31-2015, we have to be very careful here. I don't know enough information. The property that we're talking about is Oakwood Towers. Oakwood Towers was given a tax abatement in September of 2013. There's litigation involved. There's an appeal as to that validity of that tax abatement. The brief that's due by the city will be filed at, I think, at the end of this month, so will Oakwood Towers brief. In this resolution, you're making specific findings of resolution of needs. And I caution you, about a summer, in August, I made that same issue, and LLM came back, and they did attach the memorandum. You're making findings, but there has to be backup. The appellate division, since September, has issued a series of opinions that when a council makes findings, those findings need to be in the minutes, and they need to be attached or made in the basis, the evidentiary basis needs to be in the resolution. I'm going to read a couple sections from the New Jersey Local Government Desk Book. It goes, public action must be supported by facts placed in the public record. To ensure that a fair hearing is provided and a fully reviewable record is created, a public body may not act on facts that are not part of the record. Thus, the process of drafting a resolution or deciding issues or conditions on which the public has not had an opportunity to comment must be open to the public. Again, this is from the New Jersey Local Government Desk Book, who Thomas Scribo is the editor, and Thomas Scribo has been retained by this, I think, the mayor in your litigation against Willis Edwards. That's really it. The 4 items are, can you give tax relief outside the statutory tax appeal process? Where is the basis for the resolution of need? Is there an evidentiary basis? Bill list, where's the S&W, and why wasn't it posted on the website? It goes back to the issue of transparency. And the resolution ratifying this, my head's still spinning. I can't make heads or tails of what went on here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb. Ashley Cartwright?
My name is Ashley Cartwright. I live at 421 Lincoln Avenue here in the city of Orange. I'm just doing a follow-up tonight with Director Sims regarding the crosswalk. And I was just wondering if we could have a status on the investigation of Sunday shooting at Family Dollar.
He'll come up at the end.
Okay.
Okay, so you want an update on the crosswalks?
Mm-hmm.
And
the shooting.
The status of the shooting in the valley?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cartwright. Ken Garrett? Okay, that's just you, okay. Caitlin Gordon?
Good evening, Kathleen Gordon at 211 Park Place. We know that Ordinance 2/2015 is coming up at the next meeting, and I am not intending to talk about it directly. On the other hand, I am going to show the situation that has some importance to this ordinance to 2015.
So you're going to use your general conversation to discuss 2-2015?
No, I am not going to use or discuss whatsoever ordinance to 2015 today. I just stated that what I am going to discuss has some importance to ordinance to 2015 when it comes up next time. Did I make it clear?
So my question was, proceed, Mr. Gordon.
Okay, so at the last meeting, I started with discussing and complaining about and observing that every time I come up and ask questions, those questions at the next meeting has to be repeated, or a large number of them. This meeting is no different. I had about five questions and comments that I wanted some response to, and all five has been gone either unresponded to or was misunderstood or misconstrued. I am going to go through all of them, and you will understand what the connection is to Ordinance 2/2015. I hope you will. So at the last meeting, I asked, I mentioned that the last year's agenda page on the city website was missing. It comes up when you select it, comes up with an error. I think you council president turned to the mayor about it. I don't know if he committed himself or there wasn't a clear response. I can tell you, I just checked it before I came in, that page is still coming up with an error. So much for that. I asked, not only last time, but the time before, to provide a link to the council's YouTube website. It was clear from your response, as you started, Council President, that you misunderstood my request, and you started talking about that the city's website storage area is not enough. This is not what I was talking about. And for once, I wasn't reprimanded when I shouted in, but it wasn't legal. The way we are delimited to even correct you when you misunderstand, because by then the public comment section is closed down, really makes it pretty useless to have a real conversation about anything. Going on, I have over and over talked about the engineering contacts, that they are lacking certain certain the limitations when to each one is of course different, but together all of them, in my opinion, are lacking certain specifications that I have explained. Today, one coming up, I can explain if time is provided for it. But the point I am trying to make is already previous Councilman Lewis has stated that you have a responsibility to the public that to provide representation and responses. And when I come here, having read the resolutions and ordinances, I am not asking to have the representative who created that resolution or an ordinance to repeat what he put into it. I am asking you, the council, who is imminently going to vote for it, to provide your position on why or why isn't it correct as opposed to the public's or my particular opinion about it. I have asked that of other issues, and I have never ever gotten a straightforward answer what your opinion is, on what basis you are going to vote on different issues. And that is the question I am trying to pose here over and over, and getting no answer. There is no point bringing up Director Mays, who already said what he had to say, and ask him again and again, because he will say that I told you already, I have nothing to add. And this is just a very bad use of the public's time and your time. Going on, I asked you about the Oprah letter that I sent you. I also this Oprah letter was dated on the 5th of, or was stamped rather, at the clerk's office on the 5th of January.
5th of December or January?
I think it was 5th of January. Okay. I don't have it, but I'm pretty sure it was. So you responded that you did not know. Now, and you asked the deputy clerk if she knew. Now, if you get a letter, and we agreed, in the interest of time, in fact, during council meetings, to save time, to bring it offline. I brought it offline, and you did not remember whether you got it. I requested a response. I got no response. That's one thing. So there is no interest in communication with the public. After that, or in connection with that, there is a communication entry on the agenda. Neither this agenda nor the previous agenda shows that there was a written communication. I have, in fact, the copy stamped by the clerk's office showing that there was a communication. On the top of it, the communication CC'd every council member. If you didn't remember, I hope those council members did get a copy. I saw Ms. Thomas making 7 copies, and I hope they were not thrown into the garbage. So the fact that the council not only you didn't remember, but no council member, if you indeed, council members, received it, you are not paying attention either. Okay, so
Ms. Gordon, you have 1 minute.
fine. I am going to skip referring to the resolution 31 2015, which is no, not the 30, the engineering agenda. Resolution 26 2015, which in my opinion again is not tight enough for legal purposes. I hope that and request that from previous errors and expenses that we have been drawn into because our agreements were not tight enough, you should really take a close look, and if you are asked and pointed out what is missing, you should respond. Maybe defend it. It's fine. It is just one opinion, but you should take it into consideration and respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Motion to close.
Move.
Motion
Second.
by Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Answering the questions, I will start from the bottom up. Regarding 26-2015, that's a resolution authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract with Carroll Engineering for a salt dome. Mr. Mays, Ms. Gordon has stated that there's possibly something missing. I know I've looked through this, and this is a resolution that includes the PO explaining the scope of services, the contract, the certification of business, pay-to-play document. And in terms of tightening it up, how restrictive can you be? How long will it take them to do this salt dome? Do you want to speak to that?
Yes, actually, this right here, what you have before you, 26/2015, is just the beginning of the project, and this will be to allow the engineering firm to go forward, to move forward with this. As we spoke about in the past and previously, this is a major concern for the city to have a salt dome of its own and to be up and running. I had talked to Council President. We had actually got a lot of the information for this salt dome down at the League of Municipalities. Also, this salt dome is in the bond ordinance as an item, so we don't have to worry too much about how we're going to fund it. We may run into some difficulties, though, because it's coming a little bit higher than we anticipated, but still we want to move forward with this. It's important, and we needed to go through. And in terms of what is missing, I had a conversation with Ms. Gordon, and you know, I just can't allow Ms. Gordon to micromanage my projects. I told Ms. Gordon, you know, she links, or she has been linking a lot of the projects that we have now with the SCFAR. I had nothing to do with SCFAR. I deliver successful projects. I'm not going to allow her to micromanage me. I don't need to do that. I've been doing this job for 20 years, so that's my position. She's right. I'm here to respond, and I will do that, but I'm not going to allow her to micromanage me.
Director Mays, you, in the early part of your response, you stated this is one step of many steps. So this right here for $5,450 allows the engineering firm to do what?
To essentially get started, to put together all the plans and anything else that we needed. And also, you see a lot of engineering contracts. I look at that as a positive. That means that we have a lot of projects underway. And I'm proud to say that all the projects in the pipeline right now today are all active and moving.
Thank you. On 31.
Yeah, we need Amelia Rideau.
Yeah. Ms. Rideau, do you have the resolution before you? Yeah. Can you speak? Go ahead, I'm sorry. Can you speak of probably Ms. Gordon and Mr. Fells in terms of the backup for this document?
Sure. My name is Amelia Rideau. I'm with McManaman, Scotland, and Bauman. We serve a special redevelopment council with respect to certain redevelopment projects. And we were approached, the administration was approached by a potential developer to do a rehab of the 400 Oakwood Avenue site. They are submitting an application to the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency for 4% tax credits to do the rehabilitation. And as a part of their submission, they are required to submit what's called a resolution of need, which acknowledges that the affordable housing that will be provided as a part of the project is necessary or needed by the township. It's a form resolution that is that HMFA requires. And here, 400 Oakwood, as you know, is an active site. You have seniors who currently occupy the facility. It will be a in-place rehab of the site, and so you're providing the same housing that currently exists. It's not new housing. It's the same affordable housing project that currently exists, but we're rehabbing, or the developer is proposing to rehab the site, putting about $26,000 worth of improvements in the individual units, the common areas, updating electrical, et cetera, et cetera.
And that's $26,000 per unit?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's, I will say this, we do anticipate receiving additional information from the developer. This is essentially step one in order to get a letter of intent from HMFA. In order to go forward with commitment, they would have to come back to council for additional approvals.
And are the principals here as well?
Yes, the council to the developer is here if you'd like to hear from them.
Thank you.
Council
Council
President.
President, I have a question for Ms. Rideau.
Go ahead.
When you mentioned that they would have to come before the council again, are they coming back to the council to get improvements on those changes and areas that they need to make to the facility?
Well, as Feld has already indicated, and as you all know, we went through a pretty lengthy process negotiating a financial agreement with respect to 400 Oakwood. In order to either transfer the existing agreement or to enter into a new agreement, they would have to come back to council. So prior to the developer acquiring the site and conducting the rehab, they would have to come back to council at least to allow for the assignment or transfer of the financial agreement, if not a renegotiation of the terms. But they'd have to go back prior to acquisition.
But not to get approval for the redevelopment or the rehabilitation that they're doing?
Well, they can't take title to the site without coming back to council. You have a financial agreement with an urban renewal entity, and pursuant to the terms of that financial agreement, they can't transfer interest in the urban renewal entity or the project itself without approvals.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rideau. I'm sorry, Director Mays.
Yeah, I just wanted to add briefly that this is always a standalone resolution. We passed several of these resolutions going previously, and it's always a standalone resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mays. Thank you, Ms. Rideau. Please don't, you'll be with us for the duration, correct?
Yeah, I won't leave.
Going back to the Oprah letter, me and Deputy Clerk Smith did have a conversation. I recall, and I could be wrong, that you walked into City Hall on December 5th, 2015, and you walked a letter in, and you made reference as to why that communication was not on the agenda for communications. I know it did come in. I was there. I passed you in the hallway, so I know the letter did come in. I think, and I'm comfortable to say that every council member got it in their box. In terms of being on the agenda, I will confer with Mrs. Smith tomorrow, and we will discuss what communication petitions she chooses to put on the agenda, and we'll go from there. And if any council member didn't receive it, please, during your council comments, respond. At the last meeting, Director Mays did respond in regards to the engineering contracts quite passionately. And I think we're at a point where perhaps there has to be an agreement to disagree, because I believe Director Mays is saying that he is discussing this with you, that he hears what you're saying and he's not ignoring it, he is responding. I know that every contract that has come up, there has been discussion. I know out of that discussion, because of the citizens' comments, as well as specifically Councilman Johnson, in terms of contracts that relate to the paving of streets, Mr. Mays is probably in this process and continually refining those contracts and making them a lot more stricter. Am I right with that, Mr. Mays?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we did hear you and we are listening. Regarding to the link to YouTube, as well as the agenda pages missing on the paper, I did miss, regarding the link to YouTube, I did not hear what you said at first, but at the latter part of the conversation, I did understand. I think Councilwoman Summers Johnson corrected me and stated there was a link to YouTube. And I will state for the citizens that we have requested that of the administration. It's a request. It's not a function of the city council. We do apologize, but we only consented to the administration to put it up on the website, and the administration has to actually put it up on the website. And there have been several items that we have asked the administration to put up on the website, and they have not done it, but we are asking. Now, the bill list, we will check on that and get back to you regarding why this is not being posted. And instead of, well, Ms. Knight, can you come up, please? I'm sorry.
Takesha Knight, Finance.
Thank you. Ms. Knight, do you rely on the city clerks to submit the bill list to administration for it to be posted, or can you do it?
No, we do. We submit it.
Okay. Can you see why it has not been posted and give us an update?
I sure will.
I believe it was saying, because maybe at the last meeting it was posted at the last minute. So if you can try to get that up, I believe you bring the bill list up Friday. If it can be posted at the same time, that would be helpful. Do you know why on this bill list there's no salary and wages?
I cannot give you a concise answer at this point in time. All I can say is, like with the holidays, we may have fallen behind with getting a posting.
Okay. And that's regarding salary and wages?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Knight. Regarding the signatures on 33-24/2015, I recommend to the council that's something that, that's another reason that we put it off, because of that concern right there. Coming back to Director Sims. Updated the crosswalks, and I believe we had a shooting yesterday.
Hakeem Sims, Orange Police Director. The crosswalks we have, well, I have sent information to Millennium, our grant writers, to see if there are monies out there. We met with myself and the fire director met with another company that does grant writing or assists with grant writing, and that was a topic that I raised with them. And they gave us some strategies to use to try to find monies for that, because I know it's not in our budget, and more than likely not in the Public Works budget as well. But we are moving forward on that. The shooting, because it's an open investigation, I can't give much information on it, except that there was someone that was injured from a gunshot wound. He is stable. We have begun our normal practice of investigating using outside agencies, as well as all of the resources afforded to us within the city and the police department.
Thank you.
All right. If I can just take 1 minute to echo what Councilman Coley mentioned about the vehicles. I know all of you were not at the turnout of the vehicles, the press conference. Just like to thank you all personally on behalf of the police department. It has resounded in their minds and in their hearts that the city and administration do care. So I am coming back to the well for more. not just vehicles, but other things that we need. But that's a start. So again,
Can
thank
you
you.
stand here, Director Sims, Councilwoman Easton? I believe you were taking on the car wash contract. Did that ever get? Because I would hate to see us have these new. Was that ever reinstated?
Yeah, that's been reinstated.
Okay, I just want.
No, we have a car wash. It's
We
fine.
do?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't. These cars.
The cleaning contract, I think, should be on the next agenda.
Okay.
And much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of Councilwoman Easton, I'm not retiring yet.
I hope not. Then I'd have nobody to harass.
Move the agenda. Going to council comments. I apologize. Say nothing, forever hold your peace. No council comments.
I have one thing from us, real quickly.
Councilwoman Easton.
Mr. Mays, could you take a note and just secure the lot on the corner of Lakeside and Cleveland before they start dumping over there? The fence is down and the gate needs to be locked. And also, when you get a moment, could you check the curb cuts on Clay and Oakwood? There seems to be a piece of rubber or something missing. One of our members fell yesterday and broke her ankle because it's crossing the street.
Yeah, I
to get
already
to the
saw
church.
that. I saw that.
So can you fix that? It is something there that needs to be corrected, right? She got hurt pretty bad yesterday, so please take care of that as soon as possible. Thank you.
Council President. I'm going to be quick. I'm going to time myself, too. Okay. I just want to speak clearly and slowly and so that I'm not misquoted, because I was misquoted about something and it bothered me. People say it shouldn't, but I don't like to be misquoted. I want to be clear that at no time did I state that I would like to silence any Orange resident. I host meetings in my ward so that residents can have additional time to speak with me with their concerns. I have 2 more meetings scheduled, one in March and one in June. What I said was that residents should be able to speak their piece within 5 minutes, and that was just my opinion. I felt that's what they could do. I am also not saying that the public comments are the main cause of us leaving after 10:30. There are many other issues that play into the late meetings, but I was just speaking on the public comments. I'm also very happy that I had residents in the audience that heard exactly what I said, and I cannot wait till we go back on live TV so that residents are not misinformed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Summers Johnson. Councilman Corbett?
Yes, few things. Mr. Mays came to your office and we talked about the list on the vehicles and the information that's listed in the ordinance that is required before I can accept that report. How are you coming along with that?
Well, I did take a look at the ordinance, and I don't have any problems with what the council is requiring. Just have to put together some type of a worksheet or something to capture that information, and then we'll start getting it out on a monthly basis.
If you want to do it on a monthly basis, that's even better. But
that's what it says.
No, the ordinance calls for January and July.
Yeah, but a monthly report in between
that's fine too. Is it possible, Mr. Mays, to put the city emblem on all city vehicles, of course outside of the police department? Can we put the city emblem like that on all city vehicles?
Every vehicle.
Yes.
The city
emblem.
Yeah, I can look into that.
Okay, and also, isn't it standard practice that we put municipal license plates on all vehicles that are used by city employees, that are city-owned vehicles?
Every vehicle that has come through Public Works should have a municipal tag. I don't know. I'm not aware of any that don't.
I can tell you now that you have some that don't.
All right, I'll take a look at that.
Would you please? And
Yes.
I'll follow up with you the next council meeting. The clerk's office, Miss Madeline Smith, provided a brief overview on how the process should work in terms of the agenda package. All council members, I hope, did receive it. I can tell you that this is pretty much how the ordinance works, and I, for one, don't have a problem with it. I just hope that you can adhere to it so that we can begin to get our council packages in a more timely fashion. I want to quote Martin Luther King, since I'm still in the spirit of Dr. King. He who accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. Sound good? I got to read it again. He who accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. Mr. Lewis indicated that we have a responsibility to the citizens of Orange and the people who put us here, which I don't think any of us can argue that point. We had a very important executive closed session called for tonight. Many of you couldn't make it, therefore the meeting had to be canceled. I'm asking Councilwoman April Gaunt Butler to call that meeting again so that we can take care of this important, extremely important issue that we have. Is that possible, Ms. Butler?
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I would appreciate it. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you. Are we finished?
I have,
Councilman
Council-
Johnson? When you look at me, okay.
we received the email with attachments for finance documents and so forth. That some of them were over 400 pages. Are we going to get a hard copy of those documents?
The finance reports?
Yeah, the finance reports. That I
If
think
we
Mr.
can print
Mapp
one
sent
copy
them
then.
out.
The maps, fine. It is a lot of pages. The map report, one copy. We'll get a copy, yes.
Yeah, because I think at least two of them was well over 200 or 300 pages.
No, we'll get a copy, and I know, yeah, we'll have a discussion about that.
Okay. I do want to say that I'm still ecstatic and excited for the police department. I was unable to make that event, but I know it was a great time. I'm just hoping that Director Sims, that everything that you guys spec'd out that you needed to man all the equipment that you needed in each one of those vehicles was installed, and there was no shortchanging anybody on what you was anticipating on that. So I hope that everything worked out. It was all in the bond. We were supposed to do those vehicles to the police department spec so they can carry out their duties.
You got thumbs up?
Thumbs up to everything. Okay, great. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Council President.
Councilwoman Gaunt Butler?
Yes. Okay, so just a couple of quick things that I wanted to mention. One, I did make an inquiry into the administration with regards to the road conditions on Sunday morning because it was quite dangerous. I made inquiries to police, fire, and public works, and I'm still waiting for status reports, but I guess my concern with that is going forward, I guess, what's the plan? That's my question. Yeah, what's the plan? Because it was quite dangerous. I was on my way to church and I saw 3 accidents and I almost got in 2. And then when I got to church, as Councilwoman Easton said, there was a church member that had fallen outside the church and she was seriously injured. I know Director Mays knows because I was texting him from the parking lot about it, but my question is, what's the plan going forward? Additionally, I did want to mention that I still would like to see council meetings broadcast, and so I wanted to have a status report on that. I did also want to mention that I stopped in on the fire department's workshop on Saturday morning. Excellent workshop, self-motivated and self-initiated by the fire department to seek more knowledge with regards to code and all kinds of interesting information. And in the spirit of MLK, I did want to read a quick quote. I went to several MLK celebrations, but I wanted to read this quick quote. For all you who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom, we give thanks this day. for human liberty and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and to choose. We give thanks. So I hope we're all serving in that spirit of MLK. Additionally, of course, my question is, I know Ms. Knight is here from the Finance Department, but I would like to know the status of the budget. And when is that going to be prepared, or where are we at in the process with regards to that? And then last but not least, I think we're going to motion to move into executive session. I normally don't do this to the residents, but there are some pressing matters with regards to the clerk's office that we need to discuss.
I will ask that motion to be held until the end of the meeting so that we don't hold the residents here.
We can leave it till the end of the meeting.
Okay, that's not, okay, great.
Since we're all here.
Okay. And regarding the budget, I'll wait, do you, you want to speak, Ms. Knight?
Takesha Knight, Finance Department. I don't know what specific questions you have about the budget, but I can tell you that we are working on it. We are compiling information every day.
I guess my question is, are we going to meet the statutory deadline?
That is our plan, to meet the statutory deadline. Yes, ma'am.
That's what I want to know.
Thank you, Ms. Knight.
Thank you.
Any other council members? Follow-up, Councilwoman Eason.
Councilwoman April Gordon Butler I just want to say we had an excellent Martin Luther King Day celebration yesterday. If you didn't come, you missed the treat.
Get the tape.
Our pastor was a little disappointed that more of our local officials didn't show up to support that effort. So in the future, I'm hoping that everybody will come out, because as he did say, you come to the church when you want to run for office and ask for votes from the members, but you can't show up to support an event. So I'm hoping we keep that in the back of our minds. But it was an excellent. You missed the treat, Mr. Principal Beauty Cake of Felly brought it home. I mean, if you could have been there, you would have really been motivated today. Who am I? You need to look in the mirror and say, who am I? What am I doing?
And Councilwoman Eason, I
So
believe
that was a great opportunity.
and the people want to get it, they can still get the message.
Yeah, they can get it on tape at the church.
Okay. Thank you. I briefly, it was a great Dr. King weekend, as always, between the movies, the events, and I had the pleasure of seeing Selma, and it is a must-see again. And I am very proud of how Selma was rolled out in a very educational format. Kudos to the City of New York. I'm not sure if they did it in New Jersey, and if so, you can let Councilwoman Summers Johnson or Councilwoman Butler, because you're in education, but I know in the City of New York,
they did,
and Newark as
did.
well, that they paid for tickets for 7th through 9th graders, which was very good. And some of the responses I seen from the students that went, the beginning caught you off guard, but it was a very great film. If you haven't had an opportunity to see it, please, and I suggest it as a family event. With that being said, clerk, move the agenda.
Okay, we have no ordinances on second reading. We do have an ordinance number 3-2015 has been removed by administration. Then we're up to the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the council members so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda.
Moving to the consent agenda, Ms. Smith, can you just state for the record the new amount for the bill list?
Yes, the new amount for the bill list.
$1,700,000. Go ahead, you go. Yeah.
$1,743,352.25.
And that's the removal on page 1 and page 11. So everybody get that?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Wait, let me for clarification. Let me just state what's going to be removed. On page 1, I'm trying to get to it. I forget what it is. The
It's
attorney
51,000.
fees is 51,000?
51,000,
Do you have that, Ms. Knight?
$51,710.
And on page 11,
It's,
attorney fees as well, $21,001.10.
right,
Sorry,
Go ahead.
$303 of that is, prescription reimbursement.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
And then,
I see it.
You call it
I-
$59 and $718.
I see it. So we need to add 303 back in. What?
And the $59 and the $718.
You gotta add 303, add 59, and add 718.
just 303?
No, 303, 59, plus $718.10.
Wait, all right.
I'm sorry. We're adding back.
Okay.
So you got the amount.
303, 718,
$718.10,
that's 700,
$718.10,
okay,
and $59.
and plus 303.
You got the 303, right? Those three.
Okay, so that would be 10, 7, 20, 8. Everybody coming up with $1,080.10?
We will believe you. What is, oh, this total amount is, what is it?
Well, that's
No,
just
total
that
amount
303.
for that. What did you say it was?
Oh, $1,080.10. So, 10, 80, 10, 2, 10, 4, 4, 1. I'm coming up with $1,744,402.35.
You said 1080? I got,
1080.
Say the number again.
I got, wait, let's just do it. 35 cent, 2, 13, you kind of. Okay, so it's 1 million. Yeah, I got it, okay.
Okay, you got it.
What was he at? Okay. So, Ms. Knight, we have 432.35.
Yes.
That's what you got?
Yes.
Okay, everybody?
Say it again.
What's that?
$1,744,432.35.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's 1,744,3235.
Okay? And that was a removal of 2 lawyer fees for the bill list. So,
All right, I'll get changed.
and we are removing 33, 2015.
For a separate vote?
No, removing it,
Okay.
for, to refer to committee.
Which one?
33, 2015.
Thank you.
And I believe that, was there any other items over there?
Just 33?
That's it.
Sweet.
Are you requesting
What?
anything?
We'll have a meeting about, I'll call, we'll have a meeting. I'll call you. You talking about 33, 2015?
No, I'm asking, are you requesting anything from the finance department as to what you pulled off?
Can you send the council, for the two items removed, can you send the POs and all the backup to go with it?
And we need an explanation from the law department.
For those two?
PO probably will not tell us.
Okay.
But from the finance
Yes, I got
department,
you, right.
copies of the purchase orders and the backup that goes along with it.
But the
Okay.
law department needs to write the explanation.
So 33 is postponed and going to committee. Are there any other items before we move to the consent agenda
Yes.
for separate
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
Councilman?
19, 2015,
Mhm.
20, 2015.
Mhm.
Say what?
19, 20. Mhm.
Okay.
Um, 31, 2015, 32, 2015, 33 you removed, right?
Yes.
That's it for me.
Okay. Councilman, do you have
If
something, Councilman Corbett?
No.
No. Councilman Johnson?
I don't know if I missed it, but 22, 2015.
22? Okay. No, I want to make sure, council members, we're moving forward to vote on the consent agenda. Resolution 18-2015, 21-2015, 23-2015, 24-2015, 25-2015, 26-2015, 27-2015, 28-2015, 29-2015, 30-2015, 34-2015.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett, second by Councilman Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda carries. Going back to 19-2015, a resolution authorizing the tax collector to refund the subsequent taxes paid by the outside lien holder, Richard Leonardis, for property known as 679 Hawkson Avenue, Block 6601, Lot 10, in the amount of $311.51. Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Eason on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
In favor.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
No.
Councilwoman Butler.
No.
I'm in favor.
Motion passes 4-3.
No, 5 to 2.
5 to 2.
What do you got? The two noes of Councilman Johnson and Councilwoman Butler.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry, then
That's
I
okay.
missed you.
And I was a yes.
Yes. Motion passes 5-2.
Moving to 20-2015, a resolution authorizing the tax collector to refund the subsequent taxes paid by the outside lien holder, Richard Leonardis, for property known as 510 Morris Street, Block 6206, Lot 5, in the amount of $52.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
No.
Councilwoman Butler.
No.
And I am in favor.
Motion passes 5-2.
Moving to 22-2015, a resolution authorizing the reduction of 2014 taxes and refund on the property known as 299-301 Reynolds Terrace, Block 4201, Lot 23, in the amount of $1,379.19 due to an error in the property assessment.
Move.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Corbett, second by Councilwoman Butler on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
No.
Councilwoman Butler.
Yes.
And I am in favor.
Motion passes 6-1.
Form of resolution of need from the city of Orangetown, moving to 31-2015. A form of resolution of need from the city of Orange Township and the municipal council supporting Preservation Development Partners LLC and its application to the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency for the project located at 1 East Highland Avenue within the city of Orange Township, New Jersey.
Move.
Moved by
Second.
Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman Butler. On the motion? Seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
No.
Councilwoman Butler.
In favor.
Councilman Williams, I am in favor.
Motion passes 6-1.
A resolution approving the bill list for the council meeting vote on January 20th, 2015, dated January 16th, 2015, and approving checks by the Finance Department in accordance with Ordinance 2-95 for $1,744,432.35.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Eason on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Butler.
No.
Councilwoman Williams is in favor.
Motion passes 5 yeses, 1 abstain, 1 no.
And again, 33, 2015 will go back at the next meeting.
Motion to close.
It's postponed until the next meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a motion to go in executive closed session.
Move.
Moved by I think Councilman Gordon Butler moved it, and you're seconding, Councilman Corbett?
Sure.
Roll call, Councilman Coley,
No.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summer Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gordon Butler?
Yes.
Councilwoman, I'm in favor.
Motion passes.
She's about to say Councilwoman Johnson.
And there's a motion, and just for clarification, what is this discussion? What is the purpose of going into executive session? I'm sorry.
As it states on the agenda, personnel matters.
I don't have an agenda before me.
Personnel matters.
Here you go.
Good night.
When will it be here? I don't know what's about.
Night-night.